Hello and welcome to a van camping vlog. It's a long time since I've been away camping in the van, and I've been invited to a brand new campsite in Wales. It's sort of north-ish, mid-ish, west-ish Wales. I will leave a link to it in the video description below. It's going to take about 2.5 hours to get there, and the weather looks nice. Hurrah! It was indeed a lovely day for travel. Nice and bright and dry, although my route was very much cross-country rather than using any main roads. That's just how it is when trying to get into deepest Wales. The journey would take me about 2.5 hours, and having just put brand new tyres on all 4 wheels of the van, the ride was both more comfortable and quieter than it used to be. Full marks to Falcon tyres from me. They have transformed the feel of the van. You know you're in Wales when you see the arafs on the roads. It's the Welsh for slow. Here's where I was heading for. Roughly West Mid Wales, about half an hour from the coast. Thanks to Google Maps being a few seconds behind where I actually was, I overshot the campsite, which is here on the right. There it is. A quick U-turn and I entered the site, which had only opened its doors a week earlier. So as you know, this was a free stay. The site manager is one of my patrons and he invited me along. But this video isn't an ad for them, and they haven't had any say over what I show and tell. My friend's van was parked at the end, so I headed up to join her. The grass was very soggy from a deluge the day before, and this would become significant. But what a superb spot this is. Although you can't go far wrong anywhere in Wales, it's the most beautiful country. That's the view looking north. This is south. And these are the hills to the east. The snag here is that to get to those hills you have to walk along and then cross that busy road, and there's no pavement, so it feels rather unsafe, especially if you're bringing dogs along with you, as my friend was, and we ended up driving to the village half a mile away and then walking from there. As you can see, the site has both gravel hardstanding and grass pitches. Let's have a look around. The hardstanding sites have the usual bollard at the end, which provides drinking water and a mains electricity supply. That's the toilet and shower block, all brand new and sparkling. Inside there are 2 shower and toilet cubicles for women and 2 for men. Each room is certainly large, with a shower section separated from the loo by a glass partition, but weirdly nowhere to put your shower gel. There's also no loo roll holder, which is odd. But there are lots of hooks to hang towels and clothes on. Also in the building is a kitchen facility with sinks for washing up your plates and cutlery and so on. Back outside there's a spot to empty cassette toilets into, the usual hole in the ground with a hose for rinsing. And an extra tap for drinking water. Finally, there are recycling bins, plus the office for the site manager. As neither I or my friend needed the mains hookup, we decided to move our vans down to the field right next to the river, so we'd get the best view. This is really a field for tents, but if your van is self-contained, you can also park here. I was fine and moved with no problems. However, we had to seek assistance for my friend's van, which had sunk into the boggy ground just enough to render it immobile. Thankfully, the site owner has a chunky 4x4, which he happily used to drag Claire's Duetto back onto the gravel. And this is where we ended up. It is evening, and there are sheep in the field opposite over the river going baa, which will be quite nice to listen to overnight and to wake up to in the morning, I think. I'm just going to have a cup of tea now and early bed, and then a proper look round and decide what to do tomorrow. So for now, good night. Good morning. Saturday morning, and it is raining quite considerably. I've actually got some work to do. A video is not quite ready to go up on my other channel, the boating channel, and it's supposed to go online tonight. So as it is rather miserable weather, I think I will spend the morning sitting on the laptop getting that video ready. The forecast says it will be sunny by this afternoon, so perhaps I shall go out for a wander this afternoon. In the meantime, having just got up, I shall go and give the new shower block facilities a test run.
Needless to say, we were wondering whether we'd get stuck down here with this rain, but the forecast was for a dry afternoon and then a baking hot day of sunshine the next day, so it should all be solid ground by the time we came to leave. As previously noted, the shower gel had to sit on the floor.
Well, I'm sparkling clean, and it's nice to have so much space in a shower room. Some of them cram you in like rabbit hutches, but those ones are decent sized. However, I must be honest, I'm not a fan of that type of shower head which is fixed to the wall at a fixed height with a fixed temperature, and you have to keep pushing a button in the pipework to keep the water coming out. You have to push it every 20 seconds. Now, even on a boat where I lived for a long time and was very economical with water, the quickest shower I could do was 2 minutes, which would be 6 pushes of the button. And here I'm probably going to have a little more luxurious shower, let's say 3 minutes. That's 9 pushes of the button. It's quite a lot of button pushing, which I just find slightly irritating. And also not being able to direct the shower head at my bits. But lots of water, very warm, and I'm certainly, as I say, clean and sparkling.
I'm sure the sheep approved.
Breakfast then, and it's the classic cup of tea and egg waffles with the fake maple syrup again.
With the rain still hammering down, I used the time productively, and then, as all that typing was exhausting, I had a morning nap too. Noticed through the window that the weather was, as promised, gently improving.
Well, it is definitely now starting to get a bit brighter, and the forecast says it's going to be dry all afternoon, so I'm going to go for a walk. I'm actually here with a friend in her camper van with her 4 dogs, so we're going to take the dogs for a walk. You might just be able to hear them yapping in the background as I stand here talking.
We set off, the pack enthusiastically leading the way. With cars flying by at 60, this was not ideal for walking, so we drove to the village and went from there along tiny, quiet country lanes. With the sun out, it was glorious, and the sheep, safe in their field, were unbothered both by us and the dogs, who were, of course, on leads. It's clearly a popular dog walking area, as there were loads of poo bins dotted around. We paused regularly to take photographs, as it was all so stunning. But then, something we hadn't anticipated.
The slightly frustrating problem of loose sheep on the road, which would be fine if we weren't walking 4 dogs, which are on leads, let me assure you. But the sheep obviously need to go back to their field. Quite apart from anything else, cars can come along this road. Round some quite sharp bends. Oh, they've decided that they should definitely leg it, which I think is a sound plan. We are a considerable distance from them, I'll point out at this filming. We're not right next to the sheep by a long stretch, but they can probably see them. We're being very careful not to worry the sheep. We think this is probably the field the sheep came from, but how they managed to undo the latch and get out is anybody's guess. Unfortunately, they've not gone back in here, but carried on up the road towards the farmhouse, which is probably a safe bet. Isn't this lovely though?
Realising the sheep weren't going to be sensible and go back to their field, and not wanting to alarm them, we turned around for a gentle amble back to where we'd left the van. This is the little village where we parked. It's just a handful of houses and a pub, it seems. Back at the campsite, we sat in the shade of my van, and one of the dogs looked hopefully at my packet of biscuits.
Oh, hello. No, these are definitely not for you. I've just had my supper and also just published a new video to the Cruising the Cut channel, so I'm going to spend the evening sitting at the laptop and responding to comments on YouTube and Twitter and all that good stuff on Facebook. And then another day tomorrow with good weather in the forecast, so not quite sure what we're going to be doing, but possibly going for another lovely walk. Right, I'll say good night. Good night. Well, good morning. It is 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning, and I can see in the hatch above me that the sky is blue and the sun is out. So it's time to leap out of bed and enjoy the day. I will spare you the shot of me leaping out of bed in my underpants, though.
30 minutes drive away was the Welsh coast and the inviting beach of Aberdyfi. It was another splendid drive with estuary views for miles as we approached the town. Even as an adult, I still get a childish burst of excitement when the sea comes into view as you drive towards a coast.
Oh, seaside.
Even the dogs knew something good was on the cards.
Where's this car?
Unfortunately, despite heading there mid-morning, so had everyone else, and the one and only car park on the seafront was already jammed solid. All we could find was a time-limited 45-minute spot on the road, and we were lucky to get that. It would be just enough to walk to the beach, turn around and come back again. There was a nice seaside mural in this underpass, and we traipsed through grassy sand dunes, trying to avoid other dogs. There it is, the beach, and plenty of space, unlike the car park. We had time just for a quick walk along to feel the sand underfoot, but then had to return lest my van got a parking ticket.
We are back from the beach, and a very brief visit to the beach it was as well. With hindsight, it was madness to go to the beach on a Sunday when it's sunny, due to be 27 degrees, in the middle of August, because everyone, and I mean the entire planet, apparently had the same idea. There is one main car park in the village we went to, and it was rammed, just solid, and not just full in all the parking spaces, but full of people just circling, looking hopeful, but desolate at the same time. Now, as luck would have it, we got a spot on the road, but that was a 45-minute time limit, so that was just long enough to walk the dogs down to the beach and back up to the car again, and then we came back. So I think if we'd tried midweek or later in the season, it would have been a better trip. But still, got to see the sea and walk on the beach, so that's the main thing. Didn't get an ice cream, and it's a bit of a sadness, but never mind. It was a little trip out anyway, and the dogs seemed to enjoy having a walk. So now it's just a question of cheese sandwich, of course, for lunch, and then probably a lazy afternoon just sitting watching the river go by.
Inevitably, in the heat, I had another snooze. It was joyous. I love napping.
It is a gorgeous evening. We've been sitting chatting for quite a while and had toasted crumpets. The perfect afternoon, but I think now is the time to retire for the evening. It's just starting to get a little cooler, so I shall get back in the van, cup of tea or two, just slump for a bit. It is Sunday evening after all, and then to bed. Then tomorrow morning, back home again.
Next time I come here, I'm just going to bring some books. Not go anywhere, not try the overcrowded beach car parks. Just sit, relax and enjoy the river and the tranquility. If you'd like to visit, I have left a link to the campsite in the video description. Thanks for watching. Cheerio.